Please be seated. The court is now in session. Today we will hear the remaining testimony of the civil party Chiang Srimom, and we will commence to hear the testimony of a witness through TCW 964. The graphic, Mr. Sakalwuti, could you report the attendance of parties and individuals to today's proceeding? Graphic. Mr. President, for today's proceeding, all parties to this case are present except for Mr. Weekend. The Kirsampon counsel is absent due to his health, and Mr. Nunchi is in the holding cell downstairs as he is present in the main courtroom. The waiver has been delivered to the graphic, and the witness Chiang Srimom is ready and is in the courtroom, and the upcoming witness, that is through TCW 964, confirms through his knowledge he has no relationship by blood or by law through any of the two accused, that is Nunchi and Kirsampon, through any of the civil parties admitted in this case. This witness already took an oath before the Iron Statue this morning and is waiting to be called by the chamber in the waiting room. Thank you. President, thank you. The chamber now decides on the request by Nuon Chea. The chamber received the waiver by Nuon Chea dated 2nd February 2015, who states that due to his health, there is a headache, backache, and cannot sit for long or concentrate for long, and in order to avail himself for effective participation in the future hearings, he waives his direct presence in this main courtroom on the 2nd February 2015, and he advised that his counsel advised him about this waiver, and this waiver does not mean he waives his rights to a fair and just trial or objection to any of the evidence presented before this court. And the chamber also receives the medical report of Nuon Chea by the duty doctor dated 2nd February 2015, who notes that the health condition of Nuon Chea today is that he has a constant backache and cannot sit for long, and recommends that the chamber also allow him to follow the proceedings remotely from a holding cell downstairs. And based on the aforementioned and in pursuance to Rule 81.5, the chamber grants Nuon Chea a request to follow the proceedings from a holding cell downstairs through a remote means for today's proceeding. And as he also waived his rights to be present in this courtroom, the chamber instructs the AV unit to link the proceedings to the holding cell downstairs so that Nuon Chea can follow the proceedings. And that applies for the whole day proceeding today. And the chamber advised the parties that WISU's current practice is to brief witnesses prior to their attendance in court, at which time they also explained about protective measures. Any matters which arise during this initial briefing are referred to the trial chamber. Given the enhanced likelihood in case 002/02 of encountering witnesses who require special measures, including closed session due to the nature of the alleged offenses, in particular sexual violence, the trial chamber has instructed RISU to specifically inform witnesses and civil parties who may have such concerns that measures may be available pursuant to the ECCC internal rules and Article 316 of the Cambodian Code of Criminal Procedure, including closed session where warranted. The trial chamber invites the parties to alert RISU to any potential concerns in this regard prior to the hearing of the relevant witness or civil party. And we now hand the floor to Khieu Samphon's defense to put a question to this witness, Chiang Sri Mom. You may proceed. And for the combined defense teams, you will have the time this morning until we rest for a break.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, Your Honors. The Khieu Samphon team was kind enough to grant us an extra 15 minutes, taking from their time. So I will continue asking questions to the witness. Madam Witness, I would like to show you a document on the screen. For the parties, I'm referring to E3/1398, English ERN 0081450, and Khmer 0006593. So it's the first page of the document. Do you see anything on the screen, Madam Witness, or not yet? Madam Witness, do you see something on the screen?
Yes, I do.
Do you recognize this document?
I recognize this document, but I cannot recall it well. President, the Deputy International Co-Prosecutor, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, we didn't, perhaps the witness did, we didn't see anything on the screen as to what was shown. I also think that if he's going to ask, if counsel is going to ask the witness to identify a document, he should give her a copy of it too, so she can see the entire document and not just what is shown on the screen.
I wanted to save the environment and not print because it's a huge copy. I'm willing to. The prosecutor will help me.
President Court Officer, could you take the document from the International Court Prosecutor for the witness examination?
Mr. President, I actually also didn't see it on the screen. Could I have your permission to have it on the screen so that everybody who's watching can see it on the screen?
President, yes. And Court Officer, could you liaise with the AV unit so that such a presentation on screen is available on those desktops of the concerned parties?
Madam Witness, I will, while that is being done, technically continue with my questions. Did I hear you correctly saying that you recognize the document but don't remember it? Or maybe you could expand a little bit on your answer.
I apologize. In fact, I have not seen this document, and this is the first time that I see it on the screen.
You testified earlier that you have been a teacher. You have been teaching children how to read and write. Do you remember when you were teaching that you used similar documents like the one that I have shown to you?
I cannot recall it that well. While I was teaching at the time, it was not based on actual hard copy documents or books. I taught some letters and alphabets.
So you didn't actually use textbooks provided by the authorities. Is that correct?
Yeah.
There were no real textbooks at the time.
Would you be able to give us some more exact dates as to when you were teaching? Which years, starting 17 April 75, have you been teaching children?
I cannot recall the exact date. However, I recall that I taught during 1975 and 1976. It was not a full-time teaching. I looked after the children and fed them food and let them to engage in labor. And I only did the teaching when the actual teachers were absent or went somewhere. So I actually only assisted in teaching only when the teachers were not there.
Did you ever hear the teachers teach the children? Could you understand what they were teaching the children?
they taught younger children how to spell and pronounce words, and to teach them songs and arts, and to lead them to engage in labor.
Did you ever hear the teachers teach on the subject of the Kampuchean nation? What consists of the Kampuchean nation in 75 and 76? Which people belong to the Kampuchean nation?
Could you please repeat your question? I am not really understanding it well.
I'll rephrase my question to make it more concrete, also considering the time, Madam Witness. Did you ever hear the teachers teach the children that the Kampuchean people refer to people of all ethnic origins, including all the Khmer and other ethnic minorities?
As for those teachers, while they were teaching, in fact, they taught at a different location, and I did not listen to the subject matters being taught by those teachers.
All right, Madam Witness, I'll move on to my last topic, also considering the time. That is about your marriage. Do you remember whether you ever heard, maybe during education sessions or meetings, guidelines from Ankar in relation to the matter of family building?
During the time that I married, I didn't get such advice or instruction from the leaders. They didn't tell me anything about that.
So there were never meetings or any other means of communication to you how to choose a spouse?
Before I got married, during those meetings, we were told that we gave ourselves through Ankar, or sacrifice for Ankars. And whenever Ankar, or whatever position or assignment Ankar assigned us to, for example, to be a soldier or to go to the battlefield, we should not oppose such assignment, as we had given ourselves through Ankar. And that's what I can recall during those meetings before I got married. There were other contents of the meetings, but the meetings happened so long ago I cannot recall them all.
Did you hear Ankar say, for instance, during meetings or whenever, don't choose recklessly all over the place, do not go helter-skelter in a rush, and that it is imperative to choose someone who has a solid revolutionary stance? In other words, did you hear things from Ankar about choosing a future spouse?
choosing a spouse, I did not receive any instruction. For women and men to be married, it was solely organized by the Upper Angka. And we only knew during that wedding ceremony that it was announced that which woman to be married to which man. As in my case, we were not told when that we were to be married, or whether we were allowed to choose our future spouse. It was Angka who made the entire organization or arrangement. And even on that wedding day, we were only called to attend that meeting, and we were not even aware that it was our wedding. And only then we were informed that we were chosen to be married.
My last question, Madam Witness, and maybe I simply don't understand it because I come from another culture. But as you've testified before, you stayed married after 1979. You had 2 children with your husband after 1979. You are still together with him, happily married, as you testified. Can you explain that to me in the light of the fact that you didn't choose your husband, that your husband was forced upon you?
I'd like to say that for my husband, he did not force upon me, but we decided to get along, to be together. Whoever selected by Angka to marry, we could not oppose it. We had to decide to follow and to agree and to be together, regardless whether there was love in between the couple. Although we physically stayed together as a husband and wife, but inside our feeling was different. But because of the fear, we decided to follow the instruction of Angka. Otherwise, we would be in danger. That is a fatal danger. And that's also due to the implication of my family background. There was a saying at the times that to dig out a grass, we have to dig out its root too. So, because my father was killed, I was a subject to be monitored. And for that reason, I could be the next person to be killed.
Thank you, Madam Witness.
President Counsel Kong Sam-on, please wait a little bit. And Judge Lavenge, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the record, for the purposes of today's transcript, the civil party was produced a document, E3, 388, by Counsel Koppe, and this document was produced for the first time in 1977. Is that correct, Counsel Koppe?
I'm not sure if I got the translation of the E3. It is E3/1398. Yeah. Okay. It says on the cover, Ministry of Education, Democratic Kampuchea, 2nd grade, 1st edition, 1977, it seems.
Merci.
Thank you. That's all I wanted to make note of. I just wanted to make sure that it was properly recorded in today's transcript.
Mr. President, the questions that I asked about the possibility of choosing were relating from a document which is not on the interface, but which is on the case file. That is E3/775.
The President, Mr. Co-Prosecutor, you may proceed.
And just to make sure the record is clear, the document counsel just identified, to my understanding, came from a revolutionary flag or revolutionary youth issue, which is something that would only be provided to party members or cadres.
The President, thank you.
Relevance of that remark is it's pleading, it's evidence, or I'm not sure. How does he know?
Mr. President, it's well established by...
The President, please hold on. Now, please make it clear so that the chamber can take your submission, so that we can save our time. The chamber wishes to hear the remark by the party, and one party should take only one occasion to address the court. So if we keep exchanging from one to another, we may spend more time. So we would like to finish this witness this morning, and maybe we cannot finish the next witness for today or tomorrow. So could you please understand and mindful with this arrangement? So if you were a witness yourself, so you may feel uncomfortable. So please make it clear for the court, so we can have a proper ground to rule or to respond. So please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I simply wanted to respond to the issue he raised. My point would be that if you're going to submit evidence to a witness from a document, I would believe you should identify that ahead of time. To submit evidence from a revolutionary flag issue, which we all know from testimony that has already been before this court, was something only circulated to party members, would not be appropriate to submit to this witness. And that is just something I wanted to make clear on the record, since counsel has now identified a document.
The President, thank you for your remark. And Mr. Kong Som-on, you may now proceed your questioning. Defense Counsel Kong Som-on, thank you, Mr. President, Your Honors, and good morning, witness Chang Sraimom. I have a number of questions to ask you following other parties. I would like to know the location when you were interviewed and give testimony to the investigator. Did you give your interview it Kamsay or in Rusay village? Because I saw that you gave contradicting report on the location on your statement. Respond. The location of that interview was in the morning. I was interviewed in Kamsay village, and later on the last day I was interviewed at my home at Rusay Surok village. Counsel, thank you. And I would like to ask you your relation to your work before you make the declaration for the marriage, for your marriage. And you said you was the teacher assistant, and then you taught the children. So can you tell the court how long did you work as an assistant and also a teacher during that time? Response. I don't remember very well, but I recall that I was in a children's unit in 1976. In 1977, I was married. Counsel, thank you. Can you indicate that your work you spent for 1 year or less than 1 year? Is it possible for you to indicate that? Respond. Yes, perhaps 1 year. Counsel, thank you. Witness, how many people work in the children's unit? Response. The colleagues or co-workers, there were less than 10 people altogether. I forget something because I did not take note, because I did not anticipate that I will testify in the future, something like that. Counsel, thank you. Witness, do you remember who was the unit chief? Response. The female unit chief. Counsel, I'm sorry, I would like to know the name of the chief of the children's unit. Response. The chief of the children's unit was Pon, but I don't remember the family name. Counsel, what was the structure of the children's unit? Who was the chief and deputy chief and so on? Can you tell the court a bit more detail? Respond. I don't know the structure. I simply know that Pon was the one who was in charge, and other people would lead children to do certain work. And Pon was the chief who supervised everyone else. Counsel, thank you. Can you tell the court your specific position or your role, or you can tell the court what job you did during a period of perhaps 1 year at that time. Response. When I was working in a children's unit, I was in charge of economic section. I would collect vegetable and other food to cook for other people, for the members. I was working in an economic section. My main task was to collect vegetable and food for cooking. And I was also assigned to help with teaching when one of the teachers was absent. And I was in charge of a group of children to supervise them, the members, while they are doing labor. Counsel, thank you. Can you tell the court who were other teachers in your group or in your unit? Response. I forget some of them. I remember Yad, Cao Chia, Paul, and Jiang Siyin. Counsel, I would like to know whether these names you have just told the court were all teachers. Is this correct? Counsel, did you know what they teach or what they taught to those children in the class during that time? Response. At that time, when those teachers taught in a class, but I had a separate task because they were teaching at separate places. I did not hear their teaching because I would spend most of my time collecting food and vegetable for the economic section. Counsel, thank you, witness, and I would like now move to the marriage, your marriage. Before you were married, you heard from your unit chief, and you told the court earlier that you went to a pagoda and you pray before the Buddha statue. I want you to tell me the prayer you made that make Buddha help to the marriage to happen or not to happen. If a good future husband, may God help it to happen. When you did that prayer, were you uncertain on how to make the declaration of your marriage or your commitment to marriage? Response. During the the announcement of commitment for marriage, I was talking not from my mind, because Anka told me immediately before that. I was shocked, and I was given a short time to dress before that. So I was thinking that I am not happy with the marriage, but I have no choice but to follow the instruction. And then I took a short time to the Buddhist temple. There was no monk, and I did that pray. So I thought to myself, I cannot oppose, so I had to follow the instructions. So I pray to the Buddha statue. So I was saying that if my future husband will be a bad person, please help not to make this marriage happen. I did that because I had no choice. Because I know for sure that I have no other choice. Counsel, thank you. And I would like you to tell me what happened after your marriage. You told the court earlier that after your marriage, you went to work differently at different place than your husband, and at another point in time you were arranged to live in the same house. So how long before you were arranged to live in the same house again after your marriage? Response. A house was arranged for us to live together. It was really a short period of time after our marriage. It was probably a week or 2 weeks after the marriage. And later, I was assigned to work in my unit, and my husband was assigned to work in his unit, which is in a separate place. Counsel, thank you. Can you tell the court the house where you stay with your husband, the size, the kind of house, what was it looking like, the size or the wall or the floor? Yes. Can you be detailed on that? Response. The house was built by wood and with a brick roof, about 5 by 6 meter. The wall was wooden. Counsel, what was the wall made of for that house? Witness, I'm sorry, Mr. President. The wall was built by the bamboo, and the door was wooden. Counsel, thank you. So outside your house, were there any tree or jungle or any vegetation around that house? Response: yes. There were mango trees and coconut trees. It was an old village over there. Counsel: so can you tell how high was the house and how many steps on the ladder to your house? Response: I don't remember how many steps on the ladder, but that house was about 1 meter tall from the ground to the floor. I could not tell you the specific about that because I don't pay much interest to it. Counsel: thank you. Did you have bedding and other furniture in your house at the time? Respond: we had mat and we use a bag for as our pillow or our cushion. Counsel: thank you. Did you have a mosquito net? Respond: no, we had no mosquito nets for that. Counsel: earlier you told the court that you saw a militiaman who eavesdropped when you were in your house with your husband. Can you confirm or can you tell me again what time did the militiaman came below your stilt house? Response: he came probably about 8 or 9 p.m. I cannot tell you the exact time because it was dark. I think it was about 8 or 9 p.m. at night. Counsel: thank you. How long did the militiaman spend at your house during that night? Response: I saw him when he came and stay below my house, but later he may hide somewhere at the house, but I don't know when he left. So I could see him when he was below my house, but I don't know when he left my house. Counsel: thank you. Do you know any militiamen in your village during the regime? Respond: yes, I know. But the one who came that night, I don't know who he was. I know some of them, including Chin, another one, Tap. And I remember only 2 of them. Counsel: thank you. After you woke up that night, did you ask anyone about the presence of the militiamen that night Did you ask anyone regarding the spy on you? Response: at that time, I dare not ask anyone. I pretended to know nothing, but I dare not ask anyone to do any search because of fear. Counsel, thank you. And I will ask you a number of questions regarding the food and food ration. And you told the court about the food in unit and other units during Democratic Cambodia. Can you tell the court about the communal eating at the first stage when you were in the children's unit? Was it in your children's unit everyone had to join the communal eating, or was there any other people could eat at home or in a separate arrangement than the communal eating? Response: talking about communal eating at the children's unit, each group would eat separate from another group. The children's unit chief, together with the cook, would prepare meals for the children, but the teachers would eat different at a different table than the children. Counsel, thank you. And other people, when you said 10 or less than 10 of them, were they also eating in a communal eating, or they would eat separately from other people? Response: those leaders, unit chief, 10 of them would eat together among the 10 people. It was part of their communal eating. Counsel, thank you. And when you left the children's unit, what was your food ration and the condition, or how did you eat during that time? Response: after I left the children unit, I stayed with other villagers in the cooperative. The meals was communal. We would eat collectively, so food were distributed equally between one member to another, and also the soup was also distributed in a group of 4 people when we were at the table for meals. Counsel, thank you.
Can you tell the court about the food ration for the full rights people and for the candidate people? Did they have meal together, these two groups of people? Answer: for the candidate people's group, we ate together. However, for the full rights of people, they would have meal together at their own unit, and sometimes some full rights people would come to be in charge of the cooperative for us, that is for the candidate people, and they would be chief, for example, of an economic section, and they did not mix with the candidate people. Thank you. Question. Can you tell us in general terms, not those people who had a position at the kitchen or at the dining hall, but I refer to the general full rights people and the candidate people. Did they receive the same food ration for these two groups of people, or did they dine at a separate dining hall? Answer. In that commune, people were divided into groups in the cooperative. For the base, rather for the candidate people, namely the 17 April people, they were put in one cooperative which was different from the cooperative for the best people or for the full rights people. They did not mix, and they would also dine separately at different locations. Question to me is still unclear. I'd like to get a clearer answer from you. So, did you mean that one cooperative was full of full rights people and another cooperative only hate the candidate people? Am I correct in saying that? Answer. I cannot recall it clearly because it happened so long ago. But I can say that for the common eating, there were a number of dining halls within the commune, and I can recall that in a cooperative where there were 17 April people and some ethnic minorities, those people were put in a village, or they created a village just to house them, and it was separate from the base people. And later on, the base people and the candidate people's group and the 17 April people hate meals communally. They all ate together. That happened later on. But from the beginning, no, we ate separately because there were a few dining places. And as I just said, later on, we all ate together, and that continued until 1979 when the regime failed. Thank you. Question. In your written record of interview, that is question answer number 11, document D232/58, you stated that for those who ate less, the food was sufficient, but for those who ate a lot, it was not enough. Can you tell the court about the amount of food that was considered less and the amount of food that was considered more? Answer. As for those who ate less and those who ate more, they received the same food ration. So if you were to eat a lot, it means the food was not enough. But for those who ate less, it meant the food was sufficient. Thank you. Question. As for when you were allowed to eat to your content, that happened, like you said, once a month. Who actually made that decision? Answer. In the commune, it was set that way. That is, on the 30th of each month, we were allowed to eat until we were full. So we would be given real cooked rice for people to eat, and there was no limit on the food ration. But for the daily food ration, there was a limit. For example, for one container of rice, it was given to a group of people, and we had to distribute squarely amongst the members of the group. But on the 30th, it was different. We could empty it, and we could go and get more rice to eat. Thank you. My question was as who decided that you were allowed to eat to your full content on the 30th of each month. Who made that decision? Answer. No, I did not. I only knew that it was a plan from the upper echelon, but I did not know who was at the upper echelon. Thank you. Question. I'd like to ask you about your husband during the Democratic Cambodia regime. After you got married, that is after you made a resolution, you started living together with your husband. Did you live together with your husband for the entire time of the regime, or at some point you were separated to another area? Answer. After the marriage, my husband did not live together with me. He stayed at a different location, although it was in the same Tramkot district and the same, but different commune. For example, I was at Nhai Nhong commune. He was at Liebo commune. Thank you. Question. Can you tell the court during the time that you lived in, during the period that you lived under one roof and during the period that you live in a separate commune, did you spend more time living separately or living together? answer. Most of the time we lived separately at a different house, and we were allowed to meet, for example, on the 30th of every month. Then he was allowed to come and meet me and live with me. And President interrupts, Counsel, you are running out of time. President, Madam Cheng Srimom, the Chamber is grateful for your time in testifying before this court during the last few days. And now the hearing of your testimony as a witness comes to an end, and you are excused so that you can return to your residence or wherever you wish to go to. And we wish you a safe trip. And court officer, in collaboration with WISU, please make an arrangement for the transportation of this witness. We will take a break and return at 10:30 to continue our proceeding. The court is now in recess.
សូមអញ្ជើញក្រោកឈរ